Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's video is going to be me talking to you guys all about the struggle of clothes on your period. Certain uniforms and like things that you have to wear for sports or for school, like school uniforms, and like also being comfortable but also like trying to avoid leaking because you can't wear tight clothes, you can't wear light clothes. So is there only like dark and baggy clothes left as like options? Like just clothes in general and like dressing on your period. It is such a struggle and I feel like no one really like fully addresses this enough. And so in this video I'm going to be talking about the struggle of that and also giving you guys 5 tips on like clothes during your period, like what to wear and stuff like that. This is actually kind of like a little series that I do on my channel where I talk about things that periods make into struggles. I did a video on the struggle of showering and bathing on your period and also the struggle of sleeping on your period, so I guess this is like the 3rd video in the series. Just let me know down below like your suggestions for like videos that you want me to do on like what periods make into a struggle, because periods just make everything so unnecessarily difficult and like just annoying. Like when I got my first period, I started realizing, wow, I can't like wear like my light purple shorts if I wanted to, and like I can't wear these like nice light tight jeans, you know what I mean? Like periods just make everything into such a struggle, and especially what you wear. And so I'm gonna stop talking about what the video is gonna be about and I'm actually going to now talk about just the struggle of clothes on your period. First let me fix my camera angle, and also by the way, if you like see, I don't know, just like some pimples on my cheek or whatever, I like just had my period and I always break out really badly before my period, so just disregard that. But anyway, as I was saying, when I got my first period, I slowly started buying more like dark clothes, and I think like anyone who just like has a period starts to go through this, where it's like, I don't know if it's just my mind, but I kind of like divide up my closet. And by the way, I'm filming in front of my closet just because like I thought it was kind of fitting for this video about clothes, but I kind of like divide my closet into like what I can wear on my period versus like what I can't. I mean, you can forget about wearing like light colored clothing or like really tight clothing on your period, and the light colored clothing part is because of leaking and being worried about leaking. I mean, I risk it a lot. Like when I wear light clothes on my period, I was really stupid on my last period and I actually wore gray sweatpants and I thought I wouldn't leak. I thought I was special and lucky. I leaked and now there's a stain on them forever. They were my favorite gray sweatpants. But I have ruined a lot of pairs of underwear. It also comes down to like underwear, like what you can wear like with underwear. I get so many comments saying like people don't have like dark underwear or like dark pants, and like periods just make it into such a struggle, because if you think about it, people without uteruses don't have to like shop according to their period. Like people who don't have periods, they just kind of go about their life and they don't have to worry about like, okay, if I wear white jeans today but my period's due tomorrow, oh my god, that's gonna be horrible. You also, I mean, you can't wear like tight clothes like on your period. Some people like do that, and sometimes people have to for like sports and stuff like that, which I will cover later. I'm gonna be talking about like school uniforms and sports clothing later in the video, and also just like some inequality stuff when it comes to clothes and like people with periods. But when you wear tight clothes on your period, for me, I always feel like my pad is sticking out, and I always look in the mirror and it's literally not, but like just that irrational fear. Like I feel like periods just make people with periods at such a disadvantage, because I don't know if it's just me, but like when I'm on my period and like I'm wearing something that isn't completely dark and baggy, I'm like, what if I leak? What if my pad is showing? It feels like it's slipping. Like I'm just in my head all the time thinking about it, so it's really hard to like enjoy whatever I'm out doing. And also like I get such bad period pain that wearing like a really like cute and like tight tank top would be really uncomfortable. Same with like really tight leggings or tight jeans. Like I need like room for like my body to like breathe, so I always wear like baggy sweatpants or something like that, and then I always feel bad about myself because I want to look cute and stuff like that. And I always feel like people aren't real about this, and it looks like people just like wear whatever they want on their period, which always makes me feel like kind of bad about myself, that I would prefer to wear like the baggiest, darkest pajama pants instead of like cute little skinny jeans that are like a pastel pink color. Wearing dark plaid is actually something that I love. I have this pair of period pants, or like they're not like period pants, but they're like sweatpants that I wear on my period, and they're like this dark plaid color and I love them so much. It's like literally just a perfect thing to wear, but it's just like it's so limited like what you can wear on your period. And I get so many comments every day about this, like what do I wear on my period, like I'm gonna leak through this or whatever. It's just like it's such a struggle. Periods like ruin outfits, especially when your period comes before a special occasion. Like let's say that you were going to a wedding, or let's say like you had your birthday or like a birthday party, or just something that you were going to where you wanted to like look nice. I mean, you still can, but then if you were planning on wearing like white jeans, obviously that's like, wow, I probably have to change that. Periods just ruin outfits and what you can wear. And personally for me, I don't know if you guys think about this too, but whenever I go into a store to shop for clothes, I feel like, I mean, the world is becoming more and more inclusive with like like menstruation and stuff like that. But personally, I still don't think there are nearly enough fashion options available for people with periods. I mean, like, I'll go into like a clothing store and they will have like the dark clothes, but a lot of them are like impractical and tight, and then like they display all these fashions for like during summer of like these cute little like barely there light pink skirts. It's like, I cannot wear that on my period. It's not even about like if you would actually leak. Like, if your pad would do a good job for you, it doesn't matter. It's like the irrational fear that like I always have when I wear like colored clothes on my period. And it's also hard to always wear dark clothes, especially like during summer. The season just doesn't like fit with the color that you want to wear. Like during summer, you don't want to go out in like all this like hot dark stuff all the time, because actually dark clothing attracts heat, and so like then you'll be even hotter, and it's not like good to get like all sweaty and stuff on your period, because then like you're losing even more fluids through like your sweat. It's just like all such a nightmare, and people without periods just walk around and they don't have to deal with this. When I think of the people at my school who don't have periods, I mean, like, guys, like they just walk around, and I always think about this, like they just get up throughout their day and they don't have to worry about like a time in the month, like a week in the month, that is going to like interrupt what they were going to wear or something. But it's like, we people who have periods, we constantly have to walk around in fear that it's going to surprise us, or like what we're wearing isn't dark enough or baggy enough, and like it's gonna leak if we're on our period. I feel like periods just interrupt so much. Like even when you're about to PMS and then you do PMS and like you start bloating, and then it's like that limits what you can wear too. I just feel like the female body goes through so many more like changes throughout the month, obviously, just so much more throughout like just the span of 1 month than like people without periods, like males, go through. You know what I mean? It's just so unfair to me. I mean, it's not unfair because you should be lucky to like know that your body's working properly, but people like walk around and they don't have to like worry about their fashion options or like what they want to wear or something like that, and how blood is going to affect that. And the worst part is that they don't try to like help people out. Like I feel like if people without periods helped people out who have periods more, that would be so much more inclusive and like better. Now I'm gonna get into talking about like what you have to wear for school, because I have gotten a lot of comments. I can't find all of them, but I've gotten so many comments asking about school uniforms. Like, what do you do about that? Especially when it's like a light white skirt, or like just a light skirt, or like really like light tight clothing. It's like schools should really modify, like schools that require uniforms and have like people of that age like going to their school, they should really modify their uniforms to be like more accepting of these people. Like I just feel like school uniforms are not inclusive enough. I get so many comments about this, and it's like, I'm so lucky to go to a school that doesn't have a school uniform, but if I had to wear like a white or like a beige skirt to school every day, like when I'm on my period, that is so uncomfortable and it's distracting. Like if someone is on their period and they're having a really heavy flow day and they're in a white uniform skirt, or just like a skirt in general, like I don't know if it's just me, but I don't want to wear a skirt on my period. And like just stuff like that, like all those mandated things that you have to wear, it's distracting. Like if you're at school with a heavy flow, then you're constantly thinking about if you're gonna leak, and some people might choose to not even go to school. And I want to do a whole video on this, like just period disparities and like how it causes inequality and like just unfairness against people who have periods. But people might not want to go to school if they're being forced to wear something that's gonna make them feel uncomfortable while they're on their period. I really don't think they take into account people who have periods when they are choosing their uniforms. They just don't take it into account. And I wish there could be something like I could do about it. I mean, I do make a lot of period videos on YouTube to try to bring awareness to this, but I just feel like when it comes to like periods and what they make into a struggle, no one, especially like with school uniforms, is trying to like help change that. I mean, it's such a struggle to have to wear something so light and like even tight and uncomfortable or whatever when you're on your period. And I know a lot of people can't have dark school uniforms, but still, like I feel like when you're on your period, you should be able to choose like what you want to wear to make you feel comfortable and like safe at school. And even if you don't have to wear a uniform, going to school on your period and choosing what to wear is such a struggle because you're not next to your closet. Like right now, I'm like right next to my closet, and I've been doing online school for the past 2 years. I'm actually going back in person to school for the first time since like 7th grade for me. I'm going into 10th grade in August, and I'm gonna be back in person, and I have never had my period in real like in-person school because I got my first period during the pandemic. And when I would like leak on something at home or like want to change into something darker or like baggier or more comfortable, I'm looking over there because my desk is right over there, I would have my closet right here. But people with periods have to go to school, and like you can't, obviously, I mean, you can bring changes of clothes for the locker room and stuff, but you don't have like easy accessibility to like being able to change. So like you have to decide on like a perfect outfit and then like go to school and like hope you don't leak or something like that. And like you also want to look good. Like I know I'm gonna want to wear, like when I'm on my period,
my darkest, most baggy, like dark plaid, like ugly pants
to school, and my oversized hoodie that like covers my butt in case I leak, but I also want to like look cute. Do you know what I mean? It's like the constant balance. Periods just make everything such a balancing act. Like I want to look cute, but I also don't want to leak and like risk like leaking or feeling uncomfortable in school or something like that because of my cramps and my back pain and all my period pain. It really just all sucks. Now that I've like talked a lot about that, I'm gonna move into like what you have to wear for sports. And actually this video idea was really inspired by an article that my mom sent me. The article, I have it on my phone, I'm just gonna read like little parts of it to you. review. It's titled "Tennis Stars Speak Out About Wimbledon Dress Code and Its Impact on Women Athletes." And it's basically about, I mean, this applies for all sports and just like the weird regulations and stuff you have to wear and stuff like that. But I personally play tennis, and so like my family keeps up with like a lot of stuff to do with tennis. But Wimbledon is like a huge tennis tournament. And this is a perfect example of just how unfair things are like against people with periods, especially when it comes to sports. And like people claim that they're being so inclusive about like sports and like women and females playing sports, but then we like get our period while we're playing the sport and like the rules are just so hard to bend. And here's a perfect example of this. The annual Wimbledon Championships has returned, and athletes have made it clear they're ready to update the age-old traditions of the tournament, particularly those that disproportionately affect women athletes, including the dress code. Wimbledon's strict rule on an all-white dress code has been around since the Victorian era, but now it's being called into question. "I cannot imagine going into the biggest day of my life with my period and being forced to wear white," said tennis broadcaster in an interview with The Telegraph. "The current dress code completely ignores the impact periods can have on athletes. The uniforms aren't the only things that impacts women athletes disproportionately. Players can leave the court twice to go to the bathroom during a match, while doubles teams must share their allocated number of breaks. And the limited bathroom breaks during Wimbledon further highlights how periods are not taken into consideration during the tournament. The lack of acknowledgement means athletes have to invent their own workarounds, like wearing additional pads, larger size tampons, or using birth control strategically." I'll link this article down below because I'm like not gonna read all of that. I was just like reading certain parts that like apply to what I'm saying. But tennis is not the only thing I'm talking about. This is just like part of it. For example, dance and ballet. It's like I did dance when I was like 5 years old, and just thinking of those leotards, it's like, how do you wear a pad through that? How do you not worry about leaking through that? In general, people treat people with periods so unfairly when it comes to like uniforms and sport clothing and like what you actually have to wear. Periods are such a huge part of life and they're not taken into consideration enough when thinking about clothing. I actually wrote down like notes on my computer for like stuff I want to say in this video, and I like think I wrote this like pretty well, so I'm just gonna say tons of sports places like in general don't take into consideration the clothes you need to wear to feel comfortable, and especially they don't give you enough time to have bathroom breaks to change your products enough if you're being forced to wear these clothes, like the white clothes that Wimbledon currently requires you to wear. Like when you're forced to wear these clothes, like a white tennis skirt or like a really like tight light pink leotard, or like I don't know, whatever sport you play, like whatever you have to wear, like if it's light colored or just too tight or like really short or something like that, then at least more breaks should be provided for you to go change your products, because then you probably will need to like change your products more. But even this isn't happening. And just like with school, people with periods aren't going to want to play sports as much because of their period, and this is putting people with periods at even more of a disadvantage. It's just also unfair. Clothes just need to be way more inclusive than they already are, and like rules about clothes and like what clothes you have to wear, like where, that also needs to be a lot more inclusive and take periods into consideration. And I really wanted to make this video because I know that a lot of you guys probably watching my videos play sports, or like you're on your school's sport team or something like that. I'm on my school's tennis team. Like these athletes have to deal with this, these students have to deal with this, everyone who has a period has to deal with like the struggle of clothes on your period. And so I'm going to be giving you guys 5 tips that I thought of like personally like to give to you guys for dealing with the struggle of clothes on your period. The first tip is wear 2 pairs of underwear, and this applies if you are not only worried about like leaking, but if you are being forced to wear like something that's like a white skirt or something like that, or just like anything, you know, like that would make you feel uncomfortable about leaking possibly. Wear 2 pairs of underwear, and they don't have to be like thick pairs of underwear. They should actually be thinner, like you won't be able to fit them. But wearing 2 pairs of underwear makes it so that if you do leak, it won't like actually go on the clothes. It'll actually probably go through to the next pair of underwear until you can like change your pad. It's just like an extra layer of protection. And if you wear like light colored underwear that like you don't really care about, then it won't really show through something light and like tight. My second tip is always bring a jacket, a sweatshirt, or a cardigan with you where you are going. This is just because not only can you use it to tie it around your waist, but if you just like want to look casual and like you have leaked or something, or like you're just worried about leaking, make it slightly oversized, because then you can put it on and it'll like cover your butt or like the back of you, like where it would be leaking, like the period blood. Whenever I'm going somewhere and like I'm about to get my period, or like I'm on my period, or even just finishing my period, because sometimes my period comes back and surprises me, I always make sure to have this on me, because then I can tie it around my waist if I do leak. And I did give multiple options, like jacket, like if you are in the winter or something, or like it's really cold, then bring a jacket and then it won't look weird, or like a sweatshirt if it's just a casual day at school, or a cardigan if it's like summer and it's like really hot out, just like a light cardigan, like in a dark color but like light material, and then you can use that to wrap it around your waist. And you can keep this in your locker, your backpack, your purse, if you're like going to the beach or something like that, like your beach bag. This next tip might seem a little obvious, but change your pad or tampon frequently, and I don't mean just like frequently, but even more frequently if you are like wearing a school uniform or like something for sports that is going to make you like possibly leak more and like have it show more if you do leak, or like just something that's uncomfortable. You need to change it even more frequently to avoid it like spilling over, because obviously how leaks happen is either if the pad like wasn't put on right, or like same with the tampon, or if it's just like overrun, like you've been wearing it for too long, or like you just have a really heavy flow flow, so change it frequently. Always have more products with you than you think you need. And I do get like a lot of questions about this too, like what if I'm like in my classroom and my teacher won't let me go to the bathroom, or like my coach, like I'm at practice and like I can't go to the bathroom. I would just recommend being completely honest, and I know it's scary, but if you do it privately, it feels so good, and like then you can really get what you want. Like if you go up to your coach or your teacher, just say privately, or like in a soft voice, or like if it's too late, like after class or after practice or something, say something like, I really think this might be a little awkward to say to you and I didn't really want to have to like say it, but I am going through my time of the month. Or you could use the word like female problems, and I just really like need to go to the bathroom, especially because of like the uniform or whatever that I'm wearing, or like what I'm wearing. I just need to feel comfortable being able to go to the bathroom in order to like change products. And also most people don't like want to sit and talk about periods, so they'll probably let you go like if you just really say that, but do it in private if you are embarrassed. My next tip is don't just wear a pad or tampon. Line your underwear with panty liners to avoid leaking. This basically means literally just take the crotch of your underwear and then just put like little thin panty liners all up the back and then your pad on, because like if you leak through the pad, like obviously wear pads with wings, but then if you leak through the pad, at least it won't leak through to your underwear and then onto your pants, because the panty liners will be there. And my last tip is always have a change of clothes with you and a plastic bag with you. You can keep this in your locker, your backpack, your purse, in your suitcase if you're traveling, in like your beach bag or pool bag or swim bag or something like that, like depending on where you're going, or like your carry-on, like if you're traveling or something like that. And it doesn't have to be like really thick sweatpants. Like if you, for example, like leak through like, I don't know, like a skirt or something, or like if you're at school and like you leak through your uniform, have another copy of that uniform in your locker or something, so then you can like change if you do leak. Same with like everything, like if you leak, like just go to a bathroom, go in one of the stalls or something like that, and then just change. And then the plastic bag is to put the actual stained clothing inside, because it'll be a little weird if you're like carrying it around, obviously. Make sure though, like if you do want this, like make sure it isn't a completely sheer plastic bag, like see-through, like if you don't want people to obviously like see like what you've stained. You can get one that's like an opaque color, but it's always better to be safe than sorry. It's always better to be over-prepared than under-prepared when it comes to your period and clothing, so just always make sure to be prepared. Anyway guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching it. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, could relate to it, maybe like got some help from it, and like just really was able to like relate to it, because you are not alone if you struggle with figuring out what to wear and like your clothes and stuff like that when you're on your period. And I really hope that this video could really like just bring awareness to this topic and help people to relate to it. I am going to do a video around back to school season, like probably sometime in August, about like back to school outfits, but like period edition. So like back to school outfits that you can wear like if you're gonna have your period on the first day of school, or like just like back to school season, that'll be like safe and like protect you from like leaking and stuff like that, and like won't be too tight but will still allow you to look cute. So get excited for that video, and also subscribe if you haven't already to see that video coming soon. And so yeah, before you leave, please like this video, and if you made it to the end of this video, comment down below white clothes and periods do not mix, because I cannot think of anything else like that doesn't mix as much as white clothes and periods. And also please subscribe to my YouTube channel, because if you did not know already, I make so many period videos. I have a whole period playlist on my channel, so if you are looking for someone to like relate to with like the struggle of having periods and like also get period advice and guidance from, then I'm definitely the person to subscribe to for that. And yeah, that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching it, and I love you guys. Bye!